Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Between now and August 10th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing where 4 winners will each win one of the Commander 2018 pre-constructed decks. See the description below for more details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and the Legends, and welcome to part 3 of our 4-part series where we look at cards that you might want to pick up to upgrade your 2018 Commander decks. Today's featured deck is Adaptive Enchantment. Of course, that's the Bant Enchantment Matters deck. Now, like the other videos in this series, I'm going to be looking at a wide variety of cards, all different price ranges, so that way if you're looking to splurge a little bit, I'll give you some options, or if you just want some budget cards that are going to make this deck better, we got you covered there too. Quickly before we get started though, just a fast reminder, you heard it at the beginning of the video, but we're still running that promotion with Flipside Gaming, and you might be able to win one of these Commander 2018 decks. All the information is in the description below. Also down there, you're going to find links to our Patreon page as well as some Amazon products. All of these are ways to help support the channel, but whether you look at those links or not, I still want to thank you. Your viewership is enough for me. So without any further ado, let's get into it. We're going to begin with cards you might want to consider removing. Now, the good news is with this particular deck, it is a little more focused than some of the other ones, so I don't have to really think too hard about what sub-theme I need to remove to strengthen the main theme or anything like that, like I did with some others. This was solely me looking at cards that felt a little less powerful. But remember, as always, depending on what cards you're actually adding, the cards to remove could change for you. This isn't a add A and remove B sort of scenario. Play the cards that fit into your play style and that you enjoy playing ultimately. We'll begin with some white cards, Dismantling Blow. This one is fine, but I feel like there's more efficient ways to deal with artifacts and enchantments, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of more efficient ways to draw cards in here, so I don't think I need this one. Sage's Revelry. I like this card a lot, but for 4, it's very dependent on board state. Again, I think we could be doing a little bit better. In blue, Loyal Drake. I like the Loyal cycle a whole lot. This one does feel like the weakest of the bunch, though. In Commander, Windrake isn't really where I want to be. I love the fact that I draw an extra card if my Commander's in play, though, but again, I have other ways to draw cards I'm going to dump in this deck, so I think we can do without this one, too. Green, we got a whole bunch here. Dawn's Reflection. I like the strategy of getting more mana through these enchant lands. However, this one feels a little redundant and a little expensive at 4. Epic Proportions. Great surprise card. I don't hate this card, but it does cost 6, so I feel like, again, we can streamline things a little bit here. Loyal Guardian, one of my favorite cards that's new from this Commander 2018 product, as a matter of fact, but I don't feel like it's living up to its full potential in this particular deck, because, yes, there are some go wide elements, but I feel like this deck is at its best when you're going tall, and I might bring in a card a little bit later you'll see that actually nerfs the +1/+1 counter strategy too, so I'm going to take this one out. Myth Unbound. This card's fine, but again, I feel like it's not living up to its full potential here because the commanders in this deck aren't super expensive to begin with. And like I said, we're going to find some more consistent ways to draw cards. Ravenous Slime. This is another one that's using +1/+1 counters, so for that reason, I'm thinking of taking it out. It's also a tad slow and fragile when you play it out there for 3. I don't know if this is going to live very long, and I don't think most opponents are going to let you sit back on this and let it get bigger and bigger. Also, it doesn't have any sort of evasion. You're going to have to give it something to get its damage across, which isn't a deal breaker necessarily, but I feel like combine it all and I can find something a little bit better. It is pretty interesting graveyard hate though, but it isn't very focused. Spawning Grounds, good card. I like it. It's playing into the go wide elements. It's a tad expensive too, but again, the cost isn't the bigger problem here. I just want to go tall more so than wide. Yevamaya Enchantress. Now this one does go tall, but it doesn't have evasion or trample, so I wasn't too excited by it, and I decided I can probably do better. Righteous Authority, as we look at a multicolored card. Again, a fine card, nothing wrong with it at all, but I just rather have something that's a little more streamlined when it comes to drawing cards. Alright, let's move on to the cards that I want to add, and like the other videos, you're going to see the version of the card that is the least expensive here. We'll begin with some white cards, and Heliod, God of the Sun, $4.36, pretty inexpensive, not a bad pickup here. It's a fantastic mana sink, I'll tell you that right now. I love having mana sinks when I play Commander. This is a good one for this deck, creating 2/1 enchantment creatures, very relevant. That ability is great too. Other creatures you control have vigilance, so you don't have to worry about crackback as much when you're attacking with your big creatures. Because the plan is maybe you only have a few really large creatures here that are going to hopefully keep the hordes back and let you attack in for some serious damage. Also, it's an enchantment on its own, and beyond that, I don't think it's going to be really that difficult to hit the devotion. Mesa Enchantress at 40 cents. I'm going to be looking for all these creatures that allow me to, whenever I cast an enchantment card, draw a spell. The classic Enchantress creatures are going to be perfect here, and this is a great one. Thassa, God of the Sea, as we move to blue. $9.61, a little more expensive, but it is very good. It is an enchantment. There's nothing wrong with scrying, and again, I don't think it's going to be that hard to hit the devotion, but what I'm really interested in is this ability. A blue and 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. This is how I'm going to deliver my damage with these large creatures. Now, this one I put together as a combo, even though these aren't both creatures, obviously, but they've been very hot recently in the secondary market. So, unfortunately, the prices have gone up on these two cards. Aura Thief, $14.45. Enchanted Evening, $15.44. A little more expensive, but it is a pretty cool combo. We move on to green with Argothian Enchantress, $14.24. Like I said, perfect for this deck. Courser of Krufix, just $3.60. I would play this card wherever I can. It falls in bat colors and it's an enchantment. Sign me up, I'm throwing it in. Verduran Enchantress, 56 cents for the 5th edition version of this card. Again, the original Enchantress, of course you got to put her in here. Fast forward to 25 years later and we have Satyr Enchanter from Magic 2019. Perfect again and only a quarter. Okay, one sorcery I wanted to mention. Idyllic Tutor, $24 is expensive though. It's a great tutor for this deck, but it's been going up gradually ever since this deck was announced. So that's the problem. I do feel like this deck in particular has had a big impact on the secondary market, which is a good indication that this is going to be very popular when these decks come out on August 10th. As a matter of fact, this will probably be the deck that sells out first at your LGS or your Target or your Walmart. Okay, we got some enchantments to look at. We'll start with white. Grasp of Fates. I like this a lot because it does impact the board in a pretty big way. It can target non-land permanents from each opponent if you choose to, but at the same time, you can skip an opponent if you're trying to forge an alliance, so I do like that that stays open. Also, it's funny because if you take away someone's really good card, and of course, if this goes away, it will return, so you gotta wonder sometimes, even though you're taking things from multiple players, some players just might not want the other person to get their thing back, so it starts to create a little bit of friction and maybe a little bit of a political game, and I like those kind of cards. $9 though, it's not cheap. Greater Oromancy, speaking of not cheap, this has gone up recently to $44. Fantastic in this deck to protect your stuff, obviously, but very expensive. Couple of reserve list cards are next. Opalescence at $37.49. Your enchantments are going to be able to attack, but again, very expensive. Replenish, the other reserve list card here, $82. Obviously, fantastic card to recur your stuff, but it's the cost of 2 of these decks. That's a lot of money to spend on an upgrade. Starfield of Nyx, this has been going up dramatically over the last 48, 72 hours. This is now up to $12.45, unfortunately. So again, a little expensive, but it's going to be very solid here, no doubt. Okay, there's one more white enchantment that I want to bring to you. And the only reason I'm playing this card in this deck, honestly, is Erixmithy's Slumbering Isle. I like this card a lot, but I don't love it. My problem is it will become a 12/12 creature without trample, without evasion. I like that it taps for mana. I think that's sweet. I like the design of the card. But I want to cheat the whole counter situation here. I want this to become a creature as fast as possible and attack in like on turn 5. Can I do that? Well, there is a card that will help me do that. It's Solemnity, and it's not very expensive, $1.26. Now, like I said, remember to remove the other cards that are trying to put counters on your stuff. This can also hose other things at the table, so that could get interesting at times as well. But I'm not going to play this just because of that one card. So if I do go down this road, I probably want to add some other things to do with this. Sean suggested this one actually in my comment section yesterday. I thought it was a funny one. Decree of Silence, $3.36. This is very, very powerful with Solemnity. So yeah, this is one way you can go. It's very spiky, but it's one way you can go. You can probably think of a million other things, though, you could do with the whole counter-hosing strategy. All right, let's look at some more blue enchantments with Corrupted Conscience at 35 cents. Enchanted Creature has Infect. That's awesome. That's going to help you end some people's games a little bit quicker. Reality Acid, the main reason I put this in here is because it combos really well with Estrid's Invocation, and it's only 20 cents. Words of Wind, now this one's gone up recently in the last week or so. It's up to 1032 right now, but considering all the card draw that's going to be going on here, this would be really beneficial. Let's look at some multicolor enchantments. Privileged Position, 1995, is going to help you protect your other stuff. So basically, an opponent is going to have to get rid of this before they can mess with your other things. Aura Shards, I like this a lot because it is an enchantment. It sits on the table. It helps you deal with a problematic artifact or enchantment. And you could juggle this through a couple times during the course of the game. The only problem is $14.41. These cards are not cheap. Sterling Grove, $14.99. I like this because it's a tutor at times in this particular deck. And it also protects your stuff. So it does double duty for just 2 mana. Alright, one artifact to bring up. It's the Chain Veil at $18.42. Now, this has been heating up over the last few weeks and has gone down a lot, actually, in the past probably 5-6 days. So I do think some of the hype is subsiding here. Now, I could throw this card in any of these decks, but this one in particular I wanted to call out because this does go infinite with Estrid the Masked. And one land I want to point out, and I'm not recommending this, but I wanted to mention it. It's another reserve list card. It's Sarah's Sanctum, $189.42. Yikes. So if you own one of these, it might be interesting to try this out. I mean, having extra mana is never a bad thing, especially if you have a good mana sink. But I'll be honest with you, this is not necessary, and big mana isn't exactly what this deck's trying to accomplish anyway. So I'd try it out if I had one at my disposal, but I'm not going out and spending $190 on this. Alright, with that being said, those are my thoughts on upgrading this deck, and honestly, we could have done a 2-3 hour video talking about all the different upgrades and the directions you could take the deck strategy-wise. So let me know in the comments below some of your thoughts, maybe cards we didn't talk about today that you are looking to use to upgrade this deck or you might think would be a good idea. Until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.